It's amazing to me that people are still voting for Trump. And I know we keep hearing this story being recycled over and over again. And you have these people that argue that this is a democracy and people could choose and pick who they want to be their leader, which is true. That's one of the freedoms that is allowed to us by this country and everything. But that's this whole other tapestry that's in the background that people just don't talk about. They normalize like his behavior on a daily, and you have to ask yourself why. Why they normalizing behavior that is clearly not normal. It's really, really strange. So I'm prompt to make a video blog and talk about it because there was two things that happened yesterday that Kamala Harris said, and it was something that Donald Trump said. And I'm not saying that Kamala Harris is perfect, and I'm not saying that Democrats are perfect. That's not what I'm saying. But there was just two things that were said yesterday. And one of the things that is so important for this country. And also the second other thing is important as well, but more in a negative aspect. So first, and also another thing that prompted me to make this video blog that had a discussion with this girl that I know I met a few years ago at the Pirate Festival, and she's a Trump supporter. We talked for a long time, and she brought up a lot of interesting points. I wanted to talk about that as well. But first, I want to get into these two things that was said yesterday. Okay, so the first thing that was said was by Kamala Harris, what she said. She said one of the most amazing things yesterday that blew my mind. And I thought to myself, if she's really serious about what she's saying and it comes into fruition, or it passes, whatever she's saying, then it would change the game for America, man. It really would, man. And it's something that I thought about many, many years. And I thought it was something that should have been institutionalized a long time ago. And no one even spoke about it. But I know the reasons why people didn't speak about it. But anyway, so what she said yesterday, she said that she wants to have a fund that supports people that want to work for the government who don't have college degrees. So you know what that means? That means that all the agencies that are run by the government, you need to have a degree to work for these. And it doesn't matter what capacity, you just need a degree. That's a requirement. But what that does is that excludes so much people that take up alternative education elsewhere. So basically, if you need a degree to work for like the DMV or whatever, any kind of like government institution, it's going to be a certain type of people. There's going to be people who are able to go to college and pay college tuition. And this day and age, most people can't even do that, just because what's been happening with the Republican Party. Actually, they're responsible for that. They're responsible for making it, and also higher education, higher learning, and so on and so forth, is responsible for ripping off the common man, the common person, and not allowing them to be able to advance in higher education. So there's a huge demographic of people that can't get these jobs, and everything, that are really intelligent people that should be working these jobs. So what she said was that she wasn't going to make a requirement in order to work for, the government, but she's going to allow these government agencies to open up trade schools, to send people to these trade schools that will actually be learn how to participate in these certain agencies, these certain governmental agencies. Now, that's mind-blowing, because that is something that that's what people have been doing in Canada. I mean, in England, actually, and when people in Canada don't really take advantage of it, because they just grew up spoiled, being taken care of by the government. And I know you could argue the point, well, that's a socialist government. It's not a socialist government. It's a parliamentary government, which is a different type of government. It's parliamentary. There's a huge difference between parliamentary government and socialist government. And I think people don't really know what it entails, so people just misconstrue those two words and they think it's the same thing, but it's not. And this is why you have Trump and you have all these Republicans calling Kamala Harris a socialist and everything, but she's really not. She's not a socialist. She's actually a capitalist, if you want to know the truth. all Democrats are capitalists and everything, but they're not socialists, and they're more in alignment with the parliamentary politics than socialist politics. And I don't think people are aware of that. But I think that that's a very amazing thing. Imagine if you are a person that graduated high school and you don't want to go to college because you can't simply afford college because you can't pay for the tuitions because it's just skyrocketing. To go into a decent college is almost impossible this day and age unless your parents have money like Donald Trump's parents. So it's a limited to it's out of the reach of most common Americans. But imagine if you want to work for the government, because you get good benefits, you have a lifelong job, you could raise your kids, and you could buy a house and so on and so. So it's actually a really great opportunity to work for the government. But say you can't go to college, but you can't afford it. So that means you're going to end up getting another job elsewhere, because you can't afford to get the job you want. But imagine if there was a government agency that's like, well, we have this trade school that you could go to for like 6 months a year, and you could get a certificate and everything. With that certificate, you could come and work for us and everything. Then you would get the same benefits that was afforded to college people that graduated college, and everything. And so that will open up the floodgates to so much opportunities for America, and that would literally change the face of America. If that was, I don't know if she could pass something like that because Republicans, they don't want those to pass. The reason why they don't want those to pass is a simple equation. You could do the mathematics in your head. The reason why Republicans always fight against those policies, and they've been fighting it ever since Reagan, for the simple fact that Republicans are really greedy, and Republicans, they want their kids and their grandkids to reap the benefit of American free capitalist society. They don't want people of color to do that. They definitely don't want immigrants, people, legal immigrants, people who come here legally and here in legal status, and they want to go to trade school. They don't want them because they know they're going to end up working a lot harder than the average American who's a spoiled person who doesn't want to work but just want the benefits of being born in a free country and everything, but don't want to do the legwork. But then these immigrants are like, I fucking do it. Shit, I'm from Venezuela. You know how hard it is where I come from. This is a piece of cake. And they're going to want to do it like so quick and everything. And the Republicans don't want that. They just want this country. For one thing, they want it to be white Christian nationalist country. So that means they want it to be void of any other religion, and they want it to be white. Basically, at the end of the day, it's about race. We know that, Make America great, translate as make America white again. We all know that, people shy away from that notion and that discussion and that dialogue. They don't want to open up a dialogue of what it really means, that those slogan words, make America, great again. But that's what it really means. That's what is being translated to most of these Americans who are following Trump, who are these fake, Republican, because they're not really Republicans. They totally not. They're fake MAGA people and everything. And that's what it translates in their head whenever they hear those words. Make America great again. That means make America Christian again, and make America white again. And that's why all the policies is in opposition to all the policies that are distributed by people of color, that are Democratic or independent people of color. It's always in opposition. Why? If it's not about race, why isn't it not in opposition to all the policies that are being made by, Republican people? Why is it always against people of color, to the Democrats, never against policies that people may, both be Republican and they both don't agree on that certain policy? Why you never see those fights happen? Yeah, you hear about disputes here and there, but not really and everything. That's because they all have the same singular, they have the same singular goal in mind, which is to make America great again, which means to make America white again, and to make America Christian. And so that's why Roe v. Wade, and that's why abortion. And why do you think that's such a big talking point, amongst these parties, right? For the simple fact that that's part of the whole Christian nationalist ideology, if you will, for lack of a better word. And they want to push that agenda. They've been wanting to push that agenda because white nationalists, if you don't know what white nationalist Christian is, that's basically what most Republicans are and everything, everything. So that was very important what she said, because that only benefit, people of color, but that what Kamala Harris said, but it will also benefit white people too, and not only poor white people, but even middle class white people. Because you want to know the truth, there's almost no middle class anymore. The middle class shrink such a small, demographic that it's just like not. It's almost irrelevant now. The middle class, and everything, but there's still middle class people. There's still people who are born and raised into middle class family. That's a viable class in America, and it's actually the class that's responsible for making America truly great. Actually, if you really think about it, but it's been stripped away by people of the 1%, people of these affluent families and so on and so forth and everything. And it's just this huge gap in the middle. And then you have the poor, the working class, and then you have the upper middle class, the rich and the wealthy, and what's in the middle is almost non-existent, but having these trade schools and having these people being able to go to trade schools and being paid for by these government agencies is going to allow so much opportunities, and it's also going to be able to build up the middle class, and that's what we really need, man. And so when she said that, I was like, that I don't know if she could pass a bill like that, because the Republicans, they would be totally against it, because they're like, well, no, I have enough money to send my grandkids to college, and they should be able to get all the cushy jobs and everything. Why give opportunities to people of color? Why give opportunities to people who are not born in this country but are here legally but are immigrants nonetheless? Why give them the opportunity? So they're always going to fight against bills like that, and that's, I think, really fucking horrible. And so, because this shows a lack of interest for American society, the diversity of American society as a whole and everything, So that's basically what she said. Now, what Trump said was horrible, and it was so scary. He said that immigrant people that don't leave this country, who they find should be killed. He said that. He said they should be killed, and they should be murdered. That's what he said. And he also said that he's going to deport all people, not only people who are here illegally, but people who here are legally, even people who are born here, but helps illegal aliens. Meaning, if an illegal alien's living here and he moves into a house, and they say that people don't know it, he's illegal alien, but he moves into a house with other Mexicans, whoever, and then they're gonna deport the whole house, because the whole house is responsible for having that guy, because they protect him and they have him in their house and everything. So he said he's gonna put that into law. So that means, that is such a really bizarre thing to say, and because how you gonna know? And that means that you could round up anyone and accuse anyone of hovering, helping an illegal alien and deport them. And what's really amazing to me, was really super amazing, and a lot of people never bring this point up, and I think people should bring this point up, is that he's using the same playbook that Hitler used. Exactly. All you have to do is change the immigrants to the Jewish people, and the patriot, the fake patriot, MAGA shit that they always spewing out, which is not true. They're not patriots at all. It's the same thing that the Nazi Party did. Exactly. And matter of fact, if you want to know, a lot of people don't know this, but you can research it. That slogan, "Make America Great," you know what that comes from? That comes out of Hitler. That comes out of, actually, it comes out of World War II, when the Nazi Party, before they got powerful, they ran on the slogan, "Make Germany Great Again," basically. And so he totally used the same slogan that Hitler used, but he used it for the MAGA Party, and people who are
Power
listening to that, they know what those words mean and everything, and what, I preface this by mentioning something earlier. Well, I was thinking it, but I didn't say it. I was thinking the reason why I wanted to make this video blog, and I was thinking about it because I ran into this girl at the Pirate Festival, and she's like a Trump supporter and everything. She's like this really beautiful girl. And the whole time I was talking to this girl, I go, man, this girl looks really familiar to me and stuff, And it turned out that I hung out with this girl 5 years ago. I met her at a salsa party, and she came with me home, and we hung out all night in my apartment, and she wouldn't leave. She just stood there the whole night, man, and like wouldn't leave. And then it's like, I don't know. I even walked into my car. I walked to her car and everything. We sat in her car and we talked for a whole hour in her car at like 6 in the morning, and she still refused to leave. And the whole time I was thinking that that's really crazy to do that, to meet someone that you don't know, a stranger, and you go to their house and you hang out with them all night and you don't leave, And then finally I was like, it's like getting late. It was getting early because it was early in the morning, and we stood up all night and everything. And this girl, I never forgot her because I just thought that was such a weird and crazy thing to do, to just come and don't leave until finally I go, look, I gotta really go to bed. I'm falling asleep. I was falling asleep in her car talking to her because I was just, when is she gonna leave and everything? And then finally she left and everything. And then she started sending me all these like flowers and all these long notes about. She sent a whole long note saying why she can't date me. And the weird thing about it is I never said I wanted to date her. I never said that. We just hung out and she left, and then she just showed up and just pinned that to my door. This whole long, explanation of why she couldn't date me, and I'm like, never said I wanted to date her. I never even text her, to be honest with you. The next day I didn't text her because I just thought I felt really uncomfortable. So I was like, well, I'm not gonna text her, and then she left and everything. So I'm not. And then when she came and she wrote that letter, like, I'm like, who was she talking to for her to write that letter? Like, was she thinking that I was someone else? Sometimes I think that 'cause I hang out with people that they do such weird things that sometimes I think they're confusing me with someone else and they just went to the wrong house. So I think, oh, she probably thought I was someone else, and she pinned it because why would she write all that stuff? But the whole time I never forgot about it. But anyway, when I went to the Pirate Festival, there was a girl there that had her face all cake with powder. She had black lipstick on. She had eyeliner. She looked really gothic and Victorian. She was wearing this big umbrella. She looked amazing and beautiful. And I said, hey, I went up to her and I go, hey, can I take your picture? She's like, sure. And then I go, oh, I know you. And I go, and then she smiled. And then when she smiled, I knew it was the same girl. And I go, yeah, we met at Salsa like 5 years ago. We hung out one day. And she's like, she didn't say yes or no. She just smiled and everything. But anyway, I got into a conversation with her. And it turned out that she's a Republican and she's actually a Mexican girl. But and there's another thing: Mexican people and black people, them voting for Trump, shame on you. Shame on you. That's all I have to say about that. But anyhow, she's a Latina girl, and then I remember the whole time that she started talking about MAGA and all this shit about Trump. And halfway through the discussion of her explaining Trump and why she supported him, I thought to myself, God, my sneaking suspicion came true. She is fucking crazy. I was confirmed that I thought she was crazy 5 years ago because she didn't want to leave my house. But I was definitely convinced that she was crazy because of this whole support of Trump, And I just think that's what it boils down to. It's that simplistic. It's that simple. That it's a lot of mental illness with these people that are supporting Trump. And I'm not saying people should, and I'm not saying that the Democrats are great and Kamala Harris is the greatest. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying, there's definitely some mental illness or some kind of psychosis going on with people who would want to vote for this guy, because why would you vote for someone that wants to kill people? This suggesting that who's suggesting if they're not reelected themselves, which America doesn't like this person really, and they're gonna lose to someone that's a lot better. This a politician actually, this better for this country more. It's probably a less of the two evils, I think, but still, a person that already been in the realm of politics and everything, than to pick someone who's a racist, someone that promotes, divisiveness and tumultuousness. Like, why would you want that? And also someone that also made claims that they will be a dictator on the first day when they're in office, and always claim to import people who are here legally, and also who's spreading rumors to innocent communities like the Haitian community, and putting them in the line of fire undeservingly because they use that as a political talking point. I mean, it's amazing to me. Like, why would you vote for someone like that? Really? It's like you don't exercise critical thinking. You don't have sympathy in your heart. You don't like feel, the pain of other people. It doesn't take much of a person. You could have a person that has a problem with the emotions that it's hard for them to feel sympathy for other people. Some people have to something with how they feel towards other people. But in order to have this collective consciousness of dislike for other people, also for the dislike of women's right to choose what they want to do with their bodies, and also the dislike of transgender people who feel it's their right to do whatever they want to their bodies, and be so in opposition to that, and have so much hatred and disdain for those people, which those people didn't even do anything to you, and then you're going to vote for someone who is the very epitome archetype of the promotion of everything divisive, pervasive, not pervasive, divisive, division. That's what I'm getting at. Divisiveness. We're gonna vote for someone like that. That don't believe in our basic freedoms. That wants to be a dictator and wants to be worshipped, and someone that does not even functionality is not cognitively good, is actually terrible. His cognitive function is decaying in real time. I mean, it's just amazing to me. It's just really amazing.